All right, welcome back, everybody. In the middle of all this political drama back and forth, an interesting stat for you, in fact, rather troubling one. Since 2010, with all these illegals that have been released or whose deportations have been frozen or stopped outright, 124 of them, 124, have committed homicides since 2010. Jessica Vaughn is with the Center for Immigration Studies, spells it all out. This is since 2010. Explain where they were then, Jessica, prior to committing these acts. Were they in detention centers, jails, what?
Well, usually they were arrested by state and local law enforcement agencies, and ICE was alerted to that and took them into ICE custody to start the deportation process. But then ICE decided to let them go back to wherever they were living so that they could have a hearing before an immigration judge instead of detaining them and using a prompt deportation process, an accelerated process that the law provides. Instead, the administration says, no, we'll let you have a hearing before an immigration judge, and you can wait, and they're let out on bond or some other no supervision sometimes. Sometimes they have to check in like they're on probation, but there's not much supervision that they're getting. And they're at large in our communities and are responsible for thousands of new crimes, including these 124 of them total who have been charged with homicide after ICE let them go while they're awaiting their hearing before an immigration judge. So there really is a public safety problem that's caused when we take too much time to enforce immigration laws or stretch out the deportation proceedings, and it's causing harm in American communities that's unnecessary.
Do they go back to jail or where they were in the time being, or do some of them just disappear?
Well, a lot of them do disappear. Some of them do get arrested again by ICE, and then we found that there were more than 150 cases where ICE released them again, and then the criminal alien went on to commit more crimes. So it's really a revolving door for immigration enforcement at this point of time for many of these cases. And, you know, ICE seems to be forced to wait until the worst possible thing happens before someone actually gets deported.
You'd think they'd put a freeze on all of this in the meantime until they sort out how this happens.
Well, they could. This is not a question of not having enough resources or not having enough agents or anything like that. They're letting detention space sit empty that Congress has funded. It's just a lack of will and a lack of taking immigration enforcement seriously or being willing to use it, even when we're talking about illegal aliens and non-citizens who've committed serious crimes.
Crazy, just crazy. Jess, thank you, as always. Jessica Vaughn, Center for Immigration Studies. Amazing stuff. All right.